hard, man. I ain't going to lie, it's hard. You've had to swallow some bitter pills, look yourself in the mirror, and chant that golden slogan like a prayer. Just remember that you are the prize, always. Say it one more time for the people in the back, you are the prize. But what happens when the men you used to treat like disposable accessories suddenly stop looking back? What happens when your high-profile exes look at you from the peak of their careers and decide you're not just off-limits, but completely irrelevant? Damson Idris and Michael B. Jordan are seriously calling out Lori Harvey right now, pulling back the velvet curtain on Hollywood's most carefully engineered illusion, and the internet is losing its absolute mind. For years, she was the untouchable blueprint of modern dating. The girl's favorite who could walk away from an A-lister without a scratch. But the contract has officially expired, the silence has been broken, and the truth leaking out from behind closed doors is about to destroy her perfect reputation forever. Are we looking at the ultimate calculated PR mastermind? Or has the world's most famous it girl finally been exposed? Word is things between Lori and Damson fell apart after marriage talk started getting heavy. But that was just the polished cover story fed to the media to keep the illusion alive. The raw, unedited truth shifting behind the scenes is that the narrative Lori has been feeding the public for years is completely collapsing. And the people leading the charge to expose the structure of this machine are the very men who used to stand by her side. For the longest time, the internet painted Lori as the ultimate puppet master. The untouchable queen of clean breaks who dates entirely on her own terms and cuts ties the second a man no longer serves her brand equity. But industry insiders are now pulling back the curtain on what really happens when the cameras turn off, revealing that behind that smooth, unbothered facade lies a highly managed, deeply exhausting PR setup that serious Hollywood players are no longer willing to tolerate. The real trouble started brewing the exact moment Michael B. Jordan secured his massive Oscar win for his role in Sinners, sending his career into a stratosphere that public relations stunts simply cannot touch. While the entire industry was showering Michael with praise, throwing him standing ovations, and cementing him as an elite Hollywood titan, Lori's name somehow found its messy way right back into the conversation. Rumors started spreading like wildfire through the gossip underground that Lori tried to privately reach back out to Michael to congratulate him after the award show, expecting the same warm, clout-heavy interaction they used to share back when he fell under her media umbrella. But instead of the validation she was looking for, she was met with total absolute silence, a complete non-response from Michael that social media immediately picked apart and turned into a viral laughingstock. That cold shoulder alone had the internet talking non-stop, because for a woman who prides herself on being the ultimate prize that every man secretly craves, Michael's refusal to even acknowledge her existence was a massive, undeniable blow to her brand. Things got even more awkward when insiders claimed Lori intentionally skipped attending the Oscars with Damson Idris because she was absolutely terrified of the cameras being locked onto her face, catching her raw, unfiltered reaction if Michael ended up taking home the trophy. Fans immediately started connecting the dots, calling the entire situation incredibly uncomfortable and messy. But the real bombshell dropped when reports alleged that Lori was still heavily involved with Damson, while simultaneously trying to reconnect with Michael behind the scenes. This double dealing added an entirely new layer of gossip to an already explosive situation, leaving fans to realize that the mysterious, confident silence she usually maintains isn't a sign of power, but a shield to keep people from discovering how desperate things are getting behind the curtain. Michael and Lori may have split years ago, but at one point, the world truly believed they were headed toward a serious, long-term future, with insiders claiming Michael saw her as his forever partner and was ready to build a massive empire by her side. But when reports surfaced saying Lori stepped away to focus on her business goals and lifestyle brand instead of settling down, the public swallowed the story hook, line, and sinker. Now, looking at the wreckage of her recent relationships, people are realizing that the responsibility of maintaining a fake, over-curated public image is incredibly isolating, and the sheer weight of trying to outsmart the media is starting to crush her brand. At the time of her split with Michael, Lori made it seem like the breakup didn't affect her mental or emotional standing at all, constantly pushing the narrative that women should always carry her specific prize mindset when entering relationships. She wanted everyone to believe she just wanted to enjoy life, travel on private luxury trips, and focus on her skincare ventures. But ever since that split, the universe has shown a completely different reality. Michael B. Jordan's career has leveled up non-stop, His reputation has stayed completely solid, his brand has grown exponentially stronger, and he is stacking major wins in Hollywood without needing a simulated romance to stay relevant. Meanwhile, Lori's dating life has become an exhausting, repetitive topic online because of the sheer volume of high-profile names linked to her over the years, making her look less like an exclusive prize and more like a revolving door for Hollywood's rising stars. Fans have also been raising eyebrows at the absolute silence surrounding her skincare brand, which completely failed to stay in the spotlight or achieve the mainstream success her PR team promised, leaving people to question what her actual business footprint is outside of curated Instagram feeds. On top of that, gossip blogs and anonymous industry sources have started leaking stories about wealthy connections, private island trips, and desperate attempts to stay in the high-fashion social circles, creating a storm of speculation that her team is finding impossible to contain. The entire dynamic shifted drastically once Lori and Damson Idris went public with their relationship, constantly popping up at exclusive red carpet events, luxury vacations, and high-profile basketball games where the cameras were guaranteed to be rolling. A lot of people saw it as a major celebrity power move because Damson's profile was rising incredibly fast due to his immense talent, and honestly, Damson looked completely locked in and infatuated at the start, which only made the relationship look like an unbreakable fortress. But just like the pattern established with Michael, Lori's relationship with Damson also came to a screeching halt after about a year of intense, highly publicized romance, leaving fans feeling like neither one of them was fully ready to let go of the chaos. Rumors immediately started flying that they were quietly trying to patch things up behind the scenes, but the internet has become far more cynical over the past few months, with users openly debating whether the entire relationship was nothing more than a 110% PR contract designed to keep both names trending in the algorithms. People close to the entertainment world have started noticing a much bigger, more toxic pattern with these high-profile celebrity couplings, where relationships are pushed incredibly hard online, turned into social media favorites overnight, and then collapsed under the immense pressure of constant image manufacturing. In Lori's case, the spotlight has become so blindingly intense that every single move she makes is being judged, picked apart, and analyzed in real time by millions of people who are tired of the scripted narratives. What makes this specific fallout stand out from all her past breakups is that fans genuinely believe this is one of the rare times Lori is showing real, unfiltered frustration about the stories floating around online, because for the first time in her life, she isn't the one controlling the narrative. Usually, Lori is famous for cutting ties completely clean, erasing her exes from her digital footprint, and moving on to the next major celebrity name within a matter of weeks without ever looking back or showing regret. But with Damson, things played out on a completely different, much messier battlefield, because instead of walking away smoothly, Lori allegedly worked overtime behind the scenes to keep some kind of emotional connection alive. Rumors even claim she saw real, legitimate long-term marriage potential with Damson, and was willing to do whatever it took to keep the power couple illusion alive for the media, pushing for highly publicized appearances because she needed the world to believe she was still the ultimate choice. At the exact same time, Damson's career was hitting an entirely new level of industry respect due to his massive involvement in a high-stakes Formula One film project, making him one of the most sought-after young actors in Hollywood. Just like Michael B. Jordan before him, Damson started focusing heavily on being taken seriously for his actual craft, his acting ability, and his professional discipline rather than being reduced to a flashy accessory on an influencer's arm. According to heavy online chatter and back-end industry reports, Damson began feeling a deep sense of resentment, realizing that the non-stop drama, the constant gossip blog headlines, and the endless debates about Lori's extensive dating history were becoming a massive toxic distraction from the clean, prestigious image he was trying to build for himself in the industry. There were also rumors floating around that heavy family involvement and intense outside opinions from people close to Lori added an unlivable amount of pressure behind the scenes, creating a toxic environment where the relationship simply could not breathe. On top of that, social media platforms kept dragging old stories, past entanglements, and debunked rumors back into the spotlight every single week, making the noise online completely deafening for someone trying to secure serious Hollywood legacy moves. Now fans are noticing a massive, undeniable shift in how both Michael B. Jordan and Damson Idris have been acting ever since their respective chapters with Lori came to an end, and the contrast is absolutely glaring. Fans noticed that both men instantly became way more private, intensely career-focused, and far less interested in participating in highly publicized relationship moments or coordinated paparazzi walks. This sudden change in behavior has the entire internet wondering if dating under Lori's specific brand of spotlight became significantly more trouble than it was ever worth for these actors. At the same time, Lori's most vocal critics online have been aggressively claiming that her celebrity relationships were the primary driver behind her mainstream stability and media relevance, arguing that without a high-profile man on her arm, the public interest in her brand drops drastically. Whether that criticism is entirely fair or not, social media has definitely turned her personal dating life into one of the most fiercely debated topics in modern entertainment circles, overshadowing almost everything else she attempts to build. The situation exploded into complete chaos when a viral video surfaced from the Oscars red carpet showing Damson Idris flirting heavily and acting incredibly friendly with internet personality Quinn Blackwell right in front of the cameras. The interaction caused an absolute storm across Twitter and TikTok, with millions of fans arguing that the overly familiar behavior was deeply disrespectful, considering Damson was supposed to be completely locked in with Lori at the time. Even though the internet was buzzing with aggressive opinions and calling out the blatant disrespect, Lori's PR team quickly went into overdrive, scrambling to release statements from anonymous sources claiming she was completely unfazed by the clip. The sources insisted that Lori fully trusted Damson, understood the chaotic nature of busy red carpet interview nights, and had absolutely no intention of reading into a harmless, friendly moment. To make the damage control even more obvious, photos were suddenly leaked of Lori and Damson sharing a highly publicized, cinematic smooch on the streets of Paris just days later, an obvious attempt to show the world that they were still a rock-solid celebrity power couple. The strategic photos were meant to calm down the wild speculation and silence the fans who were worried about the status of the relationship, but the internet has grown far too smart for these old-school Hollywood PR tactics. Instead of buying the romance, social media users began picking the Paris footage apart frame by frame, pointing out the incredibly staged, unnatural body language between the two. The wild part is that the conversation around Lori doesn't even stay focused on her actual relationships anymore. It has evolved into a much larger, more damaging debate about overall brand longevity and industry respect. People are openly starting to question whether this constant, exhausting cycle of relationship drama and calculated media manipulation has permanently affected how serious industry insiders and major corporate brands view her personal empire. Every single time her name begins trending on the algorithms, it instantly devolves into a toxic debate about celebrity clout chasing, image control, and who is actually benefiting the most from the public attention. Meanwhile, Michael B. Jordan seems completely unbothered and locked into his elite career moves, ignoring the circus entirely while his professional stock skyrockets. After his historic Oscar win, elite directors, top-tier producers, and major Hollywood studios have reportedly been paying even closer attention to his talent, cementing his status as an absolute powerhouse. Fans also notice that Michael has been keeping his private life under lock and key lately, moving with an extreme level of low-key discipline that stands in direct, brutal contrast to how loud and performance-based things were during his time with Lori. A lot of people in the industry believe he learned the hard way that allowing too much public attention into your personal life quickly transforms your hard work into a secondary headline. As for Damson, close insiders claim he is actively trying to follow that exact same blueprint to protect his momentum, intentionally creating distance from anything that looks like a public relations stunt. He has been showing up exclusively for major business opportunities, high-level networking events, and serious film conversations instead of popping up in relationship headlines or lifestyle blogs. People around Hollywood have started viewing him with a completely different level of professional respect, now that his career is gaining serious independent momentum, and he reportedly wants that narrative to stay front and center without any outside distractions. But despite their best efforts to move on cleanly, Lori's name still manages to get attached to both men almost instantly whenever either of them trends for their achievements, creating a sticky, inescapable loop. And that is exactly why this whole situation keeps getting messier by the day, because no matter how much time passes or how many awards these men win, social media completely refuses to let the old narrative die down. At this point, some entertainment analysts are openly stating that Lori's relationships became far bigger headlines than the actual careers of the people involved. And that is exactly where things get dangerous in a town like Hollywood. In the entertainment industry, perception is the only currency that matters, and once the power players feel like the gossip surrounding your name is significantly louder than the work you produce, your stock drops behind closed doors. That is why fans believe both Michael and Damson started aggressively creating distance from Lori, realizing that the non-stop spotlight was acting like a parasite on their professional goals. What also added fuel to the online discussion was the sheer velocity at which both men appeared to transition into a completely different, more elevated phase of their lives the second the breakups were finalized. Michael became an absolute machine, expanding his production company, stepping into directing roles, and pushing his personal brand into elite corporate spaces, while Damson started landing massive, high-budget opportunities and moving around exclusively with a highly polished, untouchable industry crowd that doesn't care about TikTok trends. Fans immediately noticed this dramatic shift in energy and started connecting it right back to the theory that their past relationships with Lori were holding them back from their true potential. Meanwhile, Lori has continued her usual routine of posting highly glamorous, meticulously edited photos, attending major fashion weeks, and trying her best to keep her public image strong and unbothered. But the critics online are no longer easily distracted by a pretty dress or a luxury vacation post, and they keep demanding answers about her actual substance. Every single interview she grants, every public appearance she makes, and every minor rumor instantly turns into another vicious round of internet debates. Some loyal fans still defend her completely, arguing she is just a young woman living her life, while others firmly believe the constant headlines have completely overshadowed her actual name. And now, with both Michael and Damson entering entirely new chapters professionally, the internet is watching closely to see whether Lori can finally break away from the relationship talk and redirect the spotlight back onto her own business moves and personal brand. Still, the online world doesn't seem ready to move on anytime soon, because every single time Lori posts a new lifestyle update or a high fashion clip, the comment sections instantly turn into a battleground debating her past entanglements. That is why some branding experts believe she has reached a toxic plateau where rebuilding her public image might take significantly more effort than just staying quiet, acting mysterious, and posting polished, aesthetic photos on Instagram. The cynicism reached an all-time high when a prominent entertainment commentator dissected the infamous Paris makeout video, pointing out how the entire interaction looked like a carefully choreographed corporate transaction. The analysis showed Damson straight up walking away the second the apparent camera cue was over, leaving Lori to instantly snap into a flawless, imaginary paparazzi pose before immediately burying her face in her phone. Critics were quick to point out that real, authentic couples do not pose for invisible lenses after a moment of genuine intimacy, leading thousands to conclude that the entire romance was a business deal whose contract had simply run its course. Either you are calling the paparazzi on yourself to execute a perfectly timed marketing campaign, or you are so disconnected from reality that you treat every human interaction as a content opportunity, which honestly tells the public everything they need to know. What's truly fascinating is how the public reaction has completely flipped on its head over the past few months, shifting from widespread adoration to deep, intense scrutiny. Back when Lori was dating rising stars and keeping her mouth shut, her silence was praised as a masterclass in modern relationship power dynamics, making her the ultimate idol for a generation of women who wanted to date on their own terms. Now, however, that exact same silence is being viewed as a desperate defensive mechanism, a clear sign that she has absolutely no real substance or professional achievements to speak on once you strip away the high-profile boyfriends. The narrative has completely evolved from Lori being the selective, untouchable prize to Lori being a professional socialite whose media relevance relies entirely on the temporary company she keeps. This shift in perception became an absolute disaster the moment Michael B. Jordan's historic Oscar win became the central talking point of the entire entertainment industry, proving that real talent and career discipline will always outlive a manufactured PR narrative. Online gossip platforms went into a complete frenzy claiming that Lori's team desperately tried to orchestrate a public reconciliation moment right around the award show, only to be met with a titanium wall of rejection from Michael's camp. Not long after that embarrassing backstage shutdown, reports began spreading that Damson Idris had completely checked out of his situation with Lori as well, refusing to play the role of the supportive boyfriend when his own career was demanding serious, elite focus. Now, the streets are saying Damson is already spending his private time with someone completely outside the influencer circle. While Lori has reportedly been throwing major behind-the-scenes tantrums over how bloggers and internet personalities are dismantling her brand. One thing about Lori used to be true. She would never jump online to explain herself, clear up rumors or validate the gossip, preferring to let the internet spin endless wild theories while she remained a glamorous enigma. But that strategy only works when the theories make you look good. And right now, the theories are painting her as a calculated Hollywood climber whose luck has officially run out. What makes this specific moment a total crisis for her team is that fans believe this is one of the rare times Lori has shown genuine, unedited panic about her public standing, realizing that her grip on the media narrative has completely slipped. Usually, she can just post a stunning bikini picture from a private yacht and make the world forget about her last breakup. But the internet has officially grown tired of the same repetitive cycle. People are no longer looking at her vacation photos and feeling envious. They are looking at them and questioning who funded the trip and which PR agency coordinated the rollout. The mystery is entirely gone. The illusion has been shattered, and the public is aggressively demanding to see what Lori Harvey actually brings to the table when she isn't standing next to an A-list actor. This massive reputational collapse stands in direct, brutal contrast to how her exes are currently navigating the Hollywood hierarchy. Michael B. Jordan has transitioned into a level of industry prestige where he no longer has to court the public eye, moving with a controlled, highly professional corporate image that keeps the focus entirely on multi-million-dollar film deals and studio expansions. Damson Idris is rapidly moving along that exact same trajectory, tightening his inner circle to an extreme degree, and making sure his name is only mentioned in rooms where high-level film distributions and prestigious directing roles are being discussed. Both Martin have effectively weaponized their post-Lori eras to prove a point to the industry that stepping away from the shallow waters of influencer culture was the best decision they ever made for their professional longevity. Social media users have been absolutely ruthless in pointing this out, transforming every major career achievement from Michael or Damson into a direct, viral jab at Lori's expense. When the public starts treating your ex-boyfriend's success as a punishment for your existence, your brand is no longer just bleeding. It is completely compromised. The narrative has become so incredibly loud that it doesn't even matter if Lori signs a new modeling contract or launches a new lifestyle venture, because the public will instantly reduce it to a desperate attempt to stay relevant in the wake of her breakups. This is the ultimate danger of building an entire career on the foundation of curated romance and calculated public exposure. Once the foundation rots, the entire skyscraper comes crashing down in full view of the world. Hollywood is a town built entirely on perception, and right now, the perception is that Lori Harvey has been thoroughly outmaneuvered and exposed by the very men she thought she could out-PR. The contract is up, the secrets are leaking, and the golden slogan of being the ultimate prize has officially expired in the eyes of the public. At this point, the internet is no longer waiting to see who Lori dates next, because whoever she enters a relationship with will instantly face a barrage of cynicism and mockery before the first paparazzi picture is even taken. She has officially run out of moves in the Hollywood chess game, and the world is watching her perfect reputation burn to the ground in real time. So there you have it, the curtain has been pulled back, the contracts have expired, and Hollywood's ultimate illusion is officially lying in pieces on the floor. For years, Lori Harvey played the media like a beautifully tuned instrument, but she forgot one crucial rule. Real talent and career longevity will always outlast a calculated PR campaign. Now that Michael B. Jordan and Damson Idris have chosen professional discipline over social media circus acts, her golden slogan is facing its absolute death blow. But you already know the internet never lets a story settle without crowning a definitive winner and loser. So I want to hear from your side of the screen. Do you think Lori genuinely blew her chances with two of Hollywood's finest rising titans? Or is the public just projecting their own issues onto a woman who simply refuses to settle down on anyone's terms but her own? Is this the official end of her untouchable it-girl era? Or does she have one more masterclass move left in her playbook to spin this narrative right back around? Drop your thoughts, your wildest theories, and your unfiltered breakdown in the comments below. If you want to stay ahead of the game and never miss the raw truth behind Hollywood's biggest cover-ups, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video.